All right, welcome to episode 2 of Ring Takes here, where we have the Royal Rumble reaction. This past Saturday, that was epic by proportions. I'm joined by Brian and Lewis. Thanks you guys for joining me. A lot of things to talk about with the Royal Rumble happening. A couple returns, a couple surprises, and of course, obviously the Bloodline. But first, we're going to start with Iron Woman Rhea Ripley winning the Royal Rumble for the women's, coming in number 1, lasting all the way through. Last eliminating Liv Morgan. We all know that she's going to be facing Charlotte, but let's talk about her Royal Rumble performance and how that went down. What do you guys think about her winning the Rumble first and her facing Charlotte?
I called it.
We both did on that one. That women's Royal Rumble was pretty much the showcase of Rhea Ripley. And if I could picture it down, I mean, honestly, that women's Royal Rumble was about 2 people, Rhea Ripley and Asuka. You really want to think about it. And you know, Beth Phoenix coming out earlier in the Royal Rumble. After that happened, I just knew, like, okay, Beth already got her to get that whole thing out the way because of the Edge storyline. So now Rhea's gonna have her moment. I
thought Beth was actually going to be in the Rumble. That's what I thought. That's what I thought they were going to do, but no.
No. I had a feeling because Beth being the babyface coming back, like she kind of got her comeuppance at that moment. So if she had been a heel, maybe, but as a face, you already got your comeuppance, so no need to come later. But like Rumble was pretty much a showcase of Rhea and Asuka, and her making it in the end. I really like the finish of having all 3 women on the apron. Asuka with the miss, blinding Liv Morgan, and then Liv can barely see it. She's trying to get rid of Rhea, but then Rhea kind of uses that to her advantage. And that was actually a really good one of the better women's Royal Rumbles.
For sure. No Bellas. That was my highlight. No Bellas. Thank God for that. None of them. I thought Damage Control, Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai had a good showing. You working as a unit in the Rumble, actually getting some eliminations, teaming up, playing it smart in the Royal Rumble. Liv Morgan at the end being the damsel in distress at the end there with the mist in the face, of course. How they played that into there was like, okay, they added a little story to this. That's interesting. That's cool to see. Asuka returning, I thought was awesome. But Rhea Ripley just being the Iron Woman, battling, getting through that, getting her moment in the sun that she's been waiting for, honestly, for a while now. She's kind of been playing the background to, kind of like the front runner of Judgment Day, really getting enough of the oohs and ahs and a lot of the attention for that group right now. Especially how she's interacting with the men, being conniving, her whole thing with Dominic Mysterio. To see her go through that and actually see a heel win the Rumble like that was cool to see.
Yeah, she definitely she showed out, and obviously from first to last, that's like showing like her strengths, which is what you're supposed to do in the Rumble. I mean, either show out or survive or whatever, but she definitely did that, and that's what I said like last episode. Like she's probably one of the only other women that's like probably real strong right now who has like that potential to like be a champ right now, or in my opinion. I mean, there's other people there, but like they're not standing out as much as she is with her group showing out and then doing everything she did in the Rumble. It was like it was kind of like a no-brainer. I did like I did like how this Rumble, both Rumbles actually focused on the main roster. It wasn't all just like surprise or here's a legend or here's this person, which is great for a second, but it's like, showcase your roster and showcase and build stories. Yeah, build stories like with Damage Control, with Asuka, with new characters or whatever. What's her name? Zelina Vega with the whole Street Fighter shit. Like I thought that was great. And then brings more eyes to the product and everything. So
yeah, you know what I thought was funny that during the Women's Royal Rumble? You guys remember when Indy Hartwell came out? I think she was like 28 or 29. And like I guess Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Pat McAfee don't watch NXT because they had like absolutely they had no idea. And I was just like, you could have mentioned Dexter Lumis, you could have did something. I mean,
they had ways to go there, and they just like.
Yeah.
They no sold her.
Which is funny.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Pat McAfee was a commentator on NXT for a while. I mean,
he was in storylines there. Yeah.
It's like, yo, we know you were gone for a little bit, but you actually followed this storyline. You know what I mean? Roxanne Perez actually came from NXT as well. She had a good showing in Houston, hometown. Come up from her. I thought Zoe Stark from NXT was awesome in her spotlight. They had a couple people in there, but Asuka, I was glad Asuka came back. Loved the new look, loved the face paint and all that. Piper Niven's actually back, no longer Dewdrop. Thank God for that. No longer that stupid. Yeah, like it was just absolutely. She was powerful in the Rumble. Outside of that, we had Nia Jax at the end, coming back. I thought she should have had a little bit more of a run in there, but it was a good surprise to see that. She got eliminated by everybody, of course, that whole storyline, like everyone hates her and stuff like that. So to see that happen was awesome. But yeah, I thought that was one of the better women's Royal Rumbles for that. The strategizing, it wasn't all bland. It was women actually going over the rope. There wasn't as many blunders. Very well put together. And of course, Rhea Ripley winning that. What do you guys think about her challenging Charlotte like she did on, what was it? What's today? Wednesday, 2 nights ago on Raw. How do you guys feel about her challenging Charlotte at WrestleMania?
Okay, so I initially was actually gonna ask you guys about that, because initially when I saw it, I was like, well, you're missing out on a potential money match between Rhea and Bianca, because it's never been done before. You don't get that many first time matches in WWE these days. But then I stopped and I realized that, hold up, Rhea and Charlotte already have a built-in history. And then I realized, like, in one-on-one championship matches, Rhea has never beaten Charlotte. So, anytime Charlotte defended the title, whether it was the NXT title or the Raw Women's title, she's lost against Charlotte. So she's never beaten her for a championship. So you already have that built-in story. And you saw in Rhea's promo, her alluding to that to get Charlotte back and such. So after thinking about that, I realized, they already have a built-in story, so you can do something else with Bianca.
Yeah, I was actually rooting for the Bianca Rhea. Like he said, they hinted at it on a Raw, like, hey, what's up, champion? I'll come for you soon or whatever, something like that. But I don't know. I get the whole Charlotte storyline, like redemption, and obviously her losing that title during the COVID era. Honestly, that title loss left a bad taste in my mouth, because I was like, I felt like they did her so dirty, and it was like, I forget, it was like, oh, like she had like an injury or whatever, and then Charlotte did the figure 8, and she won. Like, Charlotte didn't need the NXT title. She did not need it at all. She really did not. So I don't know that, and I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like it should be a redemption story for her, but something tells me like Charlotte's probably still gonna win again, because it's Charlotte, and like she just got the title. Maybe they'll give Rhea her moment, but a lot of times I feel like they always put all their bets on Charlotte. So
I think that's what makes the matchup so intriguing, though, because of that possibility either way. Rhea's the up and comer. She's the hardest woman right now, so you should go with her. But then again, they go Charlotte in those title reigns again. The favorite.
She's so close. She's so close.
Even though she earned it, was it 14 now?
Yeah, she's at 14. So my whole thing about it is, there's unfinished business there. Maybe this is a way that they can actually actually have a great match, actually do the match the right way, rather than doing it how they did during that pandemic mania and stuff like that. Maybe this is Rhea's new way of getting back, like a kind of that shine of NXT, kind of that shine of the new women's roster. She's that generation. The 4 horsewomen are a different generation than what this iteration of the women's roster is. Rhea Ripley is obviously the leader of that. We saw Bianca Belair go over a couple years ago over Sasha. I think this is a very step in line with that, kind of like Charlotte probably came back just to do this, right? Like Ronda Rousey's probably not the safest bet to have a great Mania match, right? Like I'm not putting all my eggs in Ronda Rousey at this point, and I don't think WWE should either.
Keep her away.
I still think she's going to weasel her way into the Raw Elimination Chamber, right? Like, I think there's a way that she's going to try to weasel her.
Could. She easily could.
There are 2 more spots.
Regardless of what we think, WWE invested a lot of money in her to perform. Like, I don't see anyone. Maybe Asuka can go up against Belair, but to keep it on Charlotte, Rhea, I feel like that's a good changing of the guard there. Like, hey, kind of like I can't remember who John Cena lost to, where it was kind of like the changing of the guard there. You pass the torch a little bit. You're still in contention, but this other person now on your level in terms of what we've seen Rhea has been able to do. Winning the Rumble is usually a stamp on the right person. And enough of having the Rumble person lose. We had enough of that, especially with the Women's Rumble, especially with Asuka losing at Mania 34. I don't want to see that again. Rhea deserves her shine. She deserves her run. And especially whatever brand draft that they're going to do after Mania, whatever it looks like. I feel like Rhea's strong enough on her own to lead that women's roster right there on SmackDown to carry that into the new age or whatever they're doing. And I think her and Charlotte could have a good match. I think Charlotte has gotten away for a little bit, gotten refreshed, and maybe this is a way that they can have a good rivalry or something happening with Rhea Ripley especially.